Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Uh, Honorable guests, dear participants, thank you for having me this morning to start this Congress on a non-medical physics topic, but equally important because diversity, inclusivity, and equity give meaning to our profession and to provision of healthcare. So this will be a bit of a lecture with a difference, but I hope that you will enjoy it nonetheless. Uh, it started well in the middle of the past century, where psychologist Dr. Meredith Belbin analyzed well-performing workplaces. One thing they have realized that a company that was fully comprised of good performing workers was not necessarily the company with the highest achievement. And in their results, different profiles, in addition to being a good company person, emerged. So this was an early indication that it is the team's diversity that creates high-performing organizations, different set of skills that we bring to the workplace. So let me start with some definitions. Diversity encompasses broad spectrum of social, ethnic backgrounds, genders, religions, culture, disability, and other identities, thus enable mixture of perspectives and approaches. Equity is about creating equal possible outcomes for everyone by addressing systemic barriers that hinder fair opportunity for all. Finally, inclusivity ensures that diversity is actively embraced by organizations and employers, enabling individuals to contribute and effectively within their scientific communities or organizations. When we talk about equity in our profession, we actually have two types of equity in mind. It is equity for our opportunities in the workplace, but also more importantly, it is equity for our communities, for our patients to have right for healthcare. I was searching the current trends in health equity in 2024. And at the moment, we are, of course, talking access to equitable healthcare, especially in terms of highly specialized services. We are talking about mental health, pediatrics. We are talking about women's health. I am not sure whether you have realized this was a bit of a revelation for me. But in our families, women make up to 80% of decisions about healthcare attributed to their families and children. Yet, in clinics and research, women are often underrepresented in clinical trials, in access to healthcare, in access to early diagnosis. Diversity matters. A recent report by McKinsey in 2015 identified that the companies that have gender and other diversities like ethnicity, race, geographical diversities actually outperform even financially to the level of 35% the companies that are more homogeneous, that have not embraced diversity. If we are inclusive and diverse, we perform better and the company results are better. I generally recommend to operate on the principle of 4G network. Well, now that we have 5G networks available, I have to come up with the 5G. And I would recommend that whatever group you are establishing, and it could start even from a committee for a conference, make sure that you embrace gender diversity, generation diversity, have a combination of younger and more experienced people. Geography, having people from different parts of the country or different parts of the world. And genetics, having different ethnicity and race involved. On one hand, homogeneous teams feel easier. We are more comfortable because we're working with people that we know. But on the other hand, the scientific results, clinical results are better when you have a diverse group of people that bring different set of skills, different ideas. Problem solving becomes better because we are thinking differently. We are enriching the team. So, if diversity is better, why is it not readily implemented? Why in 2024 we are still talking about diversity? Well, one culprit, and there are many other areas, is bias. And it is both conscious and unconscious bias. What is bias? There are many definitions, but by and large, it means that there is a natural inclination, maybe even unconsciously, to be inclined for or against an idea, an object, a group, or an individual. Biases will depend on many aspects, including social economic status, education, gender, religion. So we all bring our own biases to the table. Unfortunately, bias is also result of our biology. There are up to 180 biases identified, and the unconscious bias is just one available, and it really reflects how our brain operates. Talking a bit about neurobiology, we are so bombarded by so much information that according to research, we only processing consciously about 1% of information that the world is sending at us. And 99% of the information is processed unconsciously. So the brain is trying to figure out how to work with all the amount of data coming at us. And that's how the biases develop, because we are trying to simplify the information that it's being thrown at us. So biases can be also good because they allow us to trim the information, make sense of the vast input data by sorting things into patterns that we have found meaningful in the past. They help manage our memory constraints by filing and storing according to patterns. And this enables us to act fast and make speedy decisions, and thus supporting our overall survival. So we are all biased, and many of these biases operate unconsciously based on our experiences, education, cultural backgrounds, or so. But what is important to remember, there is a key distinction between feeling, maybe how we feel about certain things, and how we act about things. So I may unconsciously favor someone, but I have a moral and professional responsibility to act in accordance with values of inclusion and equality. There is a lot of discussion these days that the DEI statement should change a bit, and we should put I, inclusivity, at the beginning of that abbreviation, because the social research now shows that if you focus on inclusivity, diversity will be outcome without even trying. It is the inclusive culture that people makes valued in their organization and derives a sense of belonging. Everyone wants to contribute and belong. So make your team feel valued and give everyone reasonable responsibilities to be part of your inclusive culture. So, over the years, we have seen what we call inclusivity and diversity journey. Hopefully, by now, the one that's extinct is where we completely ignore the issues of inclusivity and diversity. Hopefully, expiring is where we are focusing on the engagement of unconscious bias, and the emergent, where we have active measures in the workplace to implement inclusivity. So, what is important to remember? Prioritize action over intent. You know, we all sort of know about the DEI, but we should actually do something about it. Focus on inclusion. Emphasize good behaviors. And, you know, try changes in the workplace, and it's safe to fail. If something doesn't work, maybe come with another solution, another experiment. Inclusivity starts very early on. Starts with the hiring young medical physicists or young professionals into the workplace. And this is actually in line with International Day of Medical Physics 2024 theme, where we wish to inspire the next generation of medical physicists. If you invest in your talent pipeline, in the broadly diverse population of young people, of both genders, all religions, or ethnicities, you are already setting up your organization for the best performing workplace in the years to come. So, let me mention a few words about performing teams and happy workplaces. According to a study from Australia, the happy workplaces are the ones, research now show, where you have good retention of staff and good performing outcomes, are the ones that are being inclusive, integrative, and very flexible. Employee commitment to the organization increases because they also have a feeling that they have part of the ownership of the projects and organization. Set goals that attracts participation of your staff. Encourage collaboration among groups. Don't work in silos or individually. Communicate and share information. Many times when I am called to look at underperforming teams, number one reason for failing teams is lack of communication or miscommunication. Instill pride. Instilling pride in medical physics is actually quite easy because we have very responsible profession. And when you can see that you have really delivered best potential healthcare for any individual patient, don't you feel better coming home in the evening that it was worth those 15 hours in a hospital because someone has been treated well and you've made that little bit of difference? Excellent workplaces. They have strong ethical values and concentrate on community engagement. When we deliver to the community, that's when we are the happiest. I often tell my students, okay, I have 200 papers, who cares? I don't even know whether anyone has read them. But one day you will be 100 years old, just as me, and you will be looking back at your life. And the questions you will be asking is, have I made any difference? Have I made any change, any contribution to my community? And if the answer is yes, then it is life well lived. With the high-performing teams, there are also, the research has been gone, if you're sort of interested in various social and psychological sciences, there are a number of characteristics of the well-performing teams, and I will highlight just some of them. Participative leadership. So we are really moving away from autocratic leadership, and we want leaders who are engaging, who are bringing the next levels of staff on a journey. And the true leaders will start mentoring and enabling the young and coming generation of scientists or medical physicists. We're talking about shared responsibility, not micromanagement. Aligned on purpose. Again, this is fairly easy in medical physics because the patient is on top of the pyramid. And we want to, either from preclinical studies to clinical delivery, enable safe, inclusive, and equitable healthcare. High communication, I have already spoke. I can't stress enough good communication practices within your departments. Future focused, have a vision, where are we going? Because that also gives meanings and purpose to your staff, taking them on a journey. And that's how you will get commitment and buy-in and good change management, because they see that at the end is this much better product that either hospital, organization, or patients and their families will benefit from. Support creative talents. You know, as I said, I'm 100 years old, so I can be quite set in my ways. And it was also self-reflection on me that when a young physicist comes to me and says, you know what, we could do this differently, that I have to remove my own biases. Just because we did it like this for so many years, it does not mean that is the only way how to do things. So give young people opportunity to express new ideas, and because potentially they are much well versed in AI, ML, programming, 3D printing, you name it, they will have much better ideas how to improve workflow processes than myself. Be prepared for rapid response. There will be, you know, again, we are in the hospital. Emergencies are our daily bread and butter. So the good performing team knows how to respond in times of emergencies. Okay, I will finish with last two slides about diverse networks. This is a wonderful conference where you meet over 500 participants from many countries around the world. And here you can start practicing your diversity. Networking is extremely important. And by large, you have three major different networks. One is operational. This is your colleagues at work. These are the people who can help you to get your work done. This is often internal, and you may not choose who you work with because someone else has hired your boss or the HR department or the colleagues. This is usually often currently focused on the problems now and then. Then there is your personal network. This is the people who can help you to grow personally and professionally. This is usually external, but it's not necessarily diverse because our friends are often people that have very common interests, like-minded people like us. And then you need to create strategic network, and this is what you should be working on now at this Congress. This is where you connect with people who can help shape your future goals and direction. This can be internal, often external, and it's future-orientated. Where are you going in your next career step? And this is maybe this strategic network where you should be looking at the diversity to get input from as diverse group of people as possible. Someone said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So your network, this is like a self-feeding feedback, will determine who you are, how you behave. The revised version, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, including yourself, because you're also impacting your internal network. So just a little word of wisdom. Please consider the people you spend most time with, because they can elevate you as well as they can bring you down. So choose your networks carefully. I will end up on a high note with this beautiful picture from the National Cancer Institute in Putrajaya, Malaysia, where recently, just before this Congress, Aocmp ran the first school on intensity modulated radiotherapy. We had a wonderful team at the NCI who were marvelous hosts. We had participants and lecturers primarily from Asia, from Middle East to Southeast Asia, maybe 10 countries. We had both genders. We had early career medical physicists to some senior medical physicists who wanted to implement the new technique in their department. I hope Arun, as one of the lecturers, will agree with me that this was a wonderful example of inclusivity and diversity, and we created a very happy department or group of participants that studied together and supported each other. So I personally had a really, really wonderful experience. And in addition to content, one of the highlights of the school for the participants was making new friends, making new connections, making new support networks for your future medical physics endeavors. And I will finish with that slide. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Professor Bezak, for that thought-provoking lecture. I'm sure we have all gained valuable perspectives from your talk. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Professor Dato Dr. Adeeba Kamal-Zaman. But before that, allow me to invite Professor Untitled to say a few words.
Good morning, selamat pagi. Medical physics without patients and medical doctors is in vain, is useless. We really can't make impact. Particularly the theme of this conference is on patient care. We can't talk about patient care without a medical doctor. And for decades, a tradition, we are preaching to the converted. We talk to each other who are physicists or engineers. It is good to listen to the perspective of a renowned medical doctor, my good friend and colleague, Dr. Professor Adeeba Kamal-Zaman. And Vincent will continue to introduce her. And a real privilege to get her to come to present this lecture to us.
Well, Professor Adeeba is the President and Pro-Vice Chancellor of Monash University, Malaysia, and the former Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Malaya. An infectious diseases physician by training, Professor Adeeba is a passionate advocate for social justice, especially in HIV prevention, treatment and care, as well as drug policy reform. She serves as the chairman of the Malaysian AIDS Foundation and is the immediate past president of the International AIDS Society. Among her many achievements, she's a two-time recipient of the prestigious Medical Award and was recently honored as Tokoh Academic Negara. Today, she will deliver the keynote speech titled Technology and the Future of Healthcare. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Dato Dr. Adeeba Kamal-Zaman.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and selamat pagi, good morning, and thank you very much for having me at this conference. It's wonderful to see some old friends from University Malaya Medical Center in and also Prof. Eva. And others I've met through someone I consider my mentor, Prof. Ng Kwan Hong. We used to spend a lot of time in my office discussing, when I was dean at discussing how we can improve clinical research in general, and also how to effectively mentor academics at And so I feel very privileged to be here this morning, Prof. Ng and colleagues from this discipline. I was scratching my head when asked to think of a lecture to give, and I was very pleased to hear Prof. Eva's, because a topic like diversity, equity, and inclusivity is something very close to my heart. As you heard from the chairman, I guess spent my career in infectious diseases in general, but in HIV/AIDS, where it is really a disease that goes beyond the medical problems that the patients and the people around them and people at risk suffer from. So in many ways, DEI became part and parcel of what I do as a clinician and eventually as an academic leader. And I'm very pleased to say that a bit of a plug for my current employer, Monash University, takes diversity, equity, and inclusivity very, very seriously. We dedicate a week every year to this topic. We just celebrated it a few weeks ago. And as Prof. Eva said, an organization that values DI is usually better performing than those who do not. So on to my topic. I didn't want to talk about medical physics because it's something that you all are going to be spending many days, a few days discussing, and certainly much more accomplished to do that. But I thought I will speak about the advances of technology in general and where we're heading and what it means to all of us working in medicine and healthcare. The future is very, very exciting, but to go back to the lecture that you just heard, it is imperative that we also address the potential ethical and the issues of inequity that looms large in when we embrace digital technology. So we have certainly seen huge and rapid advances in digital health and digital technology in the last few years, but probably not as much as other disciplines. When you think about when was the last time you walked into a bank, right? When was the last time you walked into a bank because everything is digitalized? I had to change my ticket because, bless them, but Firefly retimed my flight back to KL tonight at 11 p.m. So I've had to get a new ticket, and everything was done on my phone, including purchasing the ticket, paying for it, and checking in. But we in healthcare have, it took a pandemic for us to go, maybe we should switch to telemedicine, right? The technology has been there forever, and we've kind of, at least here in Malaysia, we have sort of dabbled in it. We even have had legislation to allow telemedicine since 1997, but it took a devastating pandemic before we have fully embraced it. Well, I'm not even sure that we have fully embraced telemedicine, at least not here in Malaysia. There were all kinds of excuses. It was a source of frustration for me when I was leading UMMC task force on COVID. I won't go through the boring details, but we are such a conservative lot, us doctors and healthcare workers, that we haven't embraced the technology that's before us, and partly, I guess, compared to banks and airlines, we don't have that much. Well, we haven't invested in technology as much as the other disciplines and the other industries have. But here are the advances that are before us, and this is just a big broad list of things that I'll touch through in my lecture very very superficially, because as I said, there's so much happening. So telemedicine, remote monitoring, Internet of Things, robotics and automation. Of course, the big one is artificial intelligence and how data management and big data can help us improve healthcare. They are all certainly going to reshape how we deliver health, and hopefully out of this enhance patient experience and most importantly, of course, improve clinical outcomes. Now, I've touched a little bit on telehealth. Like I said, it took a pandemic for us to really value the technology and what this brings. But we can do much more. Obviously, it's going to enhance access, flexibility of scheduling appointments, etc., and lead to better outcomes. But I think whatever technology we embrace, we always have to have the lens of, is this going to be available and accessible for all in terms of the equity, and in particular, people in rural areas and the aging population who may not be as comfortable with smartphones and other things. So education and awareness and training should go hand in hand with any kind of technology that we then introduce. And this was an article in The Edge, one of the leading business newspapers here in Malaysia, looking at the state of health and the need for standards for the introduction of technology, including data security and patient privacy, and the importance of training healthcare workers, so that we're not just introducing technology, but we're ensuring that it helps to improve efficiency, improve and ultimately patient outcome. One example that I'm very, very privileged and proud to be associated with, and to show how technology can truly revolutionize patient care, or rather delivery of care, is in self-sampling, whether it's HIV or in this case, I'm giving you an example of HPV DNA testing for the diagnosis for early diagnosis, early detection of cervical cancer. Many of you will know that there is a global goal to end cervical cancer by 2030, and the target's pretty similar to that of the end AIDS as a public health threat of 2030. So 90% school-based vaccination, 70% screening, and also linkage to care. And these are the Malaysian targets for the elimination of cervical cancer and the action plan towards it. Now, it is the second most common cancer in women in Malaysia. We have had pap smear, free pap smear, no less, for decades, but the rate of pap smear screening is only 1 in every 3 women. So we desperately need new ways of detecting this truly treatable disease. So Program Rose is the brainchild of one of my very good colleagues, again from UMMC, Professor Woo Yin Ling, an obstetrician and gynecologist. The HPV DNA screen, self-sampling, was introduced, 6-7 years ago. And through design thinking, she came up with this solution together with another colleague from Australia, Professor Marion Saville from the Australian Centre for the Prevention of Cervical Cancer, with a digital health platform that allows registration of the well, they're not patients, they're clients, I guess, individuals, and a barcode that it's very simple. We can take the lady into the toilet, have a register, screen, and bring the swabs back to the lab, and results will be delivered by SMS and through this lady's in sort of call center, and also we'll be able to send reminders if they don't come for their follow-ups, should there be the presence of HPV there. It's, when you think of it, it's not very difficult to do, but what it has done in less than 4 years, I mean, the numbers have increased now. We've screened 25,000 women all over Malaysia, particularly in rural areas, because we've been focusing on those who are hard to reach through working with philanthropy. And what we are very proud of is the percentage of linkage to care, which been hovering around 88% to 91%. So that is huge when you consider that, like I said earlier, with pap smear, only 1 in 3 women have screened. So very proud of this achievement, but also that this will go towards a really important goal of eliminating cervical cancer. And in fact, the governments of US, Australia, I'm not sure, the Quad, Japan, and what's 4 countries in the Quad that of this international partnership. Recently, the White House and the Australian government announced moonshot plans to eliminate cervical cancer through this dual vaccination and screening. So again, digital technology plays a huge role in ensuring that happens. Now, apart from early screening and linkage to care, digital remote monitoring is also something that I think is going to revolutionize healthcare. What I think in the rapid advances of digital technology, what often is not so clear is, there are a lot of claims that this works, that works, this is fantastic and all that, but perhaps they have not, in many cases, they have not been subjected to gold standards like randomized control trials to really show effectiveness. And this is one example of such an attempt to prove that digital remote monitoring is better than standard of care. And this was published in Nature Medicine a couple of years ago, looking at combining nurse navigation with digital support versus standard of care of patients going to the oncologist at 6 months. And to cut a long story short, so the primary objective is to optimize the treatment dose of oral anti-cancer agents. The secondary objectives is looking at grade 3 toxicity, patient experience, rates and duration of hospitalization, and quality of life, response and survival. So more than 559 patients were evaluated, and what it shows is the patients in the nurse navigator plus smartphone application arm had less days of hospitalization, decreased treatment-related grade toxicities, and had better patient experience, not surprisingly. In an accompanying editorial in the same journal, Mary Wells looked at similar trials. I think there were about 11 published trials and 3 ongoing trials, and concluded that there was evidence of substantial benefits associated with remote monitoring, particularly in relation to reduced symptom severity, improved quality of life, and improved survival. So again, substantiating that this role of remote monitoring is can play in future in relation to cancer treatment and radiation therapy. But once again, caution around the potential for exacerbating health inequities through the digital divide. Moving to robotics, as you can see here, a summary of the difference between the benefits or otherwise of traditional open surgery versus minimally invasive surgery and robotic surgery, or many green ticks in the minimally invasive and robotic surgeries. However, in a recently published paper looking at, like what I said before, the gold standard in terms of looking at clinical trials and really measuring the difference in a trial setting. These authors looked at systematically looked at publications around minimally invasive robotic surgical platforms, and it's a bit small for you to read maybe, that what they concluded was there's still many high quality studies, including RCTs, that are required to demonstrate the true impact of the technology. And long-term outcome data are scarce and will be necessary for surveillance to ensure patient safety. And evaluation across specialties are still necessary to demonstrate external validity. And of course, the need to collaborate, as Prof. Ng said, between those who are designing and putting out all this new technology versus clinicians and those working in healthcare. So, to put simply, there are obviously, or maybe not so obviously, benefits to robotics and automation in healthcare, and can improve outcomes and provide operational efficiencies. But the challenges include high costs. There's a very there's a lag time between the training and surgeons getting proficient at this, which may increase the complications and, of course, ethical considerations, particularly in terms of equity and access. And finally, the big one is, of course, application of artificial intelligence in medicine. And this is a lovely schematic graphic of where artificial intelligence is or has played a role in medicine, from the pocket doctor all the way to much more sophisticated use in relation to big data, genomics, etc. These are some of the prompts, I guess, that can help doctors in when we use ChatGPT or equivalent. Can you provide advice on the diagnosis and treatment for these symptoms? Can you please create a personalized treatment plan? So we're already here in terms of its use at the patient and doctor interface. But like I said, there's so much more that AI is going to be able to improve delivery of healthcare, from using the data for clinical decision making, and obviously I think imaging is one of the areas that has been at the forefront of the use of AI, electronic records, medical robotics, personalized medicine, especially when combined with genomics, and like I showed you, treatment management plan. Excuse me. This was one of the first kind of excitement on the clinical application of deep learning for diagnosis and referral in retinal disease with Google Medicine or Google Mind, that showed the superiority of deep learning for diagnosis in retinal disease. But and this machine learning has consistently outperformed traditional medicine learning techniques in terms of accuracy, sensitivity, and specificity, not just in retinal disease, but also lung cancer detection in CT scans. Again, I think the field is moving very, very quickly, and we need to recognize the challenges that the model of dependence depend on the data? How do you generalize across different data sets? How do you integrate with clinical metadata? And how do you interpret the model? So there's still a lot to be learned, a lot of research to be done, but I guess there is no doubt that this is really going to revolutionize medical diagnosis in particular. So that's from a clinical hospital point of view, but I think, and here's one example in terms of the use of AI in public health. I spoke earlier about the potential of mHealth or mobile health in helping us deliver our goal of eliminating cervical cancer. And this one is the use of AI in radiology to eliminate tuberculosis. There are efforts in Bangladesh and Pakistan supported by the Global Fund and other large international organizations. When you think of it, TB has been around for centuries, and one of those true neglected diseases because it mainly affects, poor people in poor countries. So there wasn't until the multi-drug resistance crisis came about during the early days of the AIDS pandemic back in the 90s. There really wasn't a lot of new research in TB. Thankfully, that has changed. And I think now, with the advent of rapid diagnostics with TB using tools like GeneXpert, that can give you a diagnosis in 20 minutes as opposed to days that was spent looking under the microscope from sputum smear, not to mention the better sensitivity. Using AI, looking at chest x-rays on the field or in the field with immediate sputum detection using technology like GeneXpert, there is a sense, and it starting treatment immediately on the ground, there is a sense that we are moving forward with the goal to eliminate tuberculosis. So this to me is super exciting. But the lesson learned from that and other similar endeavors is that we need to collaborate. Prof mentioned the need for clinicians to work hand in hand with medical physicists for a goal like eliminating HIV/AIDS, eliminating cervical cancer, eliminating TB. That goal obviously needs to include companies, industry leaders, governments, health providers to find innovative ways, and most importantly, I think, active engagement with local communities. This is critical, and I guess in your discipline, it's in the hospitals, working with patients and the carers, but for a disease like TB/AIDS, also working with the larger public communities. And last but not least, of course, a lot of money is needed to achieve this. One of the hats that I wear is that as the vice chair of the WHO Science Council, and actually one of the things we're working on at the moment is to do a report on the use of digital health to really create awareness to member states or governments to embrace digital health. And one of our key messages is that governments need to invest in this new technology and need to see more broadly that health is an investment and not a cost, because all these things I've talked about are not inexpensive. Not only is the initial investment in terms of getting the machines costly, but maintenance costs and, of course, training of healthcare workers. And last but not least, I think to look at how we train medical doctors. I mean, there's when AI and others came along, there was this fear that they're going to replace all of us, going to replace healthcare workers, but I think not. I'm not going to go through these two slides that kind of summarizes some of the technologies and tools and its application. But you can see the where I got it from. But certainly it is a very, very exciting and moving field that will hopefully improve patient outcomes. And finally, in terms of big data, again, in the field of precision medicine, and the potential is enormous, but this diagram from Journal of Human Genetics, just relatively recently published, highlights some of the challenges in applying neural networks and other things to the omics data. Once again, in its summary, highlights the importance of interdisciplinary collaboration between computing experts, bioinformatics, healthcare professionals, medical researchers, and of course, doctors and their patients. This is that diagram kind of highlights the use of big data in personalized medicine and omics. This one, and actually in many ways, the use of AI and machine learning and big data in actually improving healthcare delivery doesn't often get talked about. And imagine in our hospitals if we use technology and machine learning and algorithms to just improve simple things like rostering of doctors and nurses. I think it might go a long way in healthcare efficiency, in patient appointments and so forth. But like I said, at the very beginning, we're kind of maybe a decade behind the airline industry in terms of really using algorithms to improve our day-to-day function. So this is just one example from Lancet Oncology from several years back in how AI and the algorithms can actually improve healthcare delivery. And I think with that also, improve or be cost effective. Obviously at the beginning when you invest in this, it's going to cost, but I would imagine in the long run, we would see a much more efficient and cost effective health system. So in the last two slides, just to summarize the challenges in implementing these new technologies in healthcare, the future is very, very exciting. And certainly based on emerging data, it is also going to lead to better patient experience satisfaction and outcomes. But this, like I said, has to come with initial investment and in ongoing investment in maintenance and upgrades, so the financial costs associated with those. It is imperative that we train and educate all levels of healthcare workers to ensure the effectiveness of awareness and the use of this technology. We are, in general, as healthcare workers, like I said, very, very conservative and resistant to change. There have been studies to show that one of the reasons technology has not been adopted as widely in healthcare is because of healthcare workers' conservatism and reluctance to change. Some of it is because of the concern of data privacy and security, and a lack of, for want of a better word, a lack of regulatory compliance to ensure that this happens. Many are grappling in terms of a true nationwide digital transformation. Many are grappling with legacy issues of EMRs and intraoperability and compatibility in data silos that reduces the possibility of really maximizing the potential of digital technology. And yes, number 5 is resistance to change, cultural barriers, patient acceptance. So a lot of more basic work needs to be done to educate patients, to educate healthcare workers. And finally, one concern, of course, I think in the US, when EMRs were first introduced, there was concern about the disconnect between the doctors and patients and the usual the traditional patient-doctor relationship as a result of spending more time in front of the screen. So that obviously needs to be balanced together with communication. So I think in summary, in order to really embrace and benefit from what these new technologies can bring to healthcare to improve patient experience, patient satisfaction, and patient outcomes, as well as the much larger goals of eliminating some pandemics and diseases. There needs to be a strategic approach, not least of which something I've not really covered is to ensure that there is digital infrastructure, basic things like internet connections, 4G, 5Gs, those things have to be in place before we talk about some of those other fancy machines that I described. There needs to be adequate funding, comprehensive training programs, and of course, robust cybersecurity measures. And all of these can and must be achieved through fostering a culture, not just of innovation with healthcare organizations, but true partnerships between disciplines, between patients and the healthcare professions, what is also between the communities and what's known now in terms of people with lived experience. And I think by shifting that culture, we can truly embrace what these new technologies bring to us in a much more equitable and just manner. So with that, thank you very much for inviting me to speak this morning, and enjoy the talk.
Thank you, Dr. Adeeba, for such an insightful presentation on how technology is shaping the future of health. Can I please request Professor Adeeba to remain on the stage, and I would like to invite Professor Eva Bezak to the stage to present a token of appreciation to Professor Adeeba.
That concludes our opening session. I would like to thank both of our speakers for their exceptional presentations and for starting the Congress on such a high note. I encourage everyone to take full advantage of the upcoming sessions, workshops, and networking opportunities. We'll now move on to the opening ceremony, and I wish you all a productive and enlightening Congress ahead. Thank you.
Okay, ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, and I will sing the arrival of the guest of honor this morning, Rabbi Mr. Gooi Zi Zen, member of the United States Executive Council for Youth, Sports, and Health. A round of applause to welcome Rabbi Gooi Zi Zen. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're ready to rise for the Malaysian national anthem and the Penang state anthem. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may take your seats. Thank you. When the Herman, Mr. Gooi Zi Zen, member of the Guam State Executive Council for Youth, Sports and Health, Professor Dr. John Damilakis, President of the International Organization for Medical Physics, Professor Dr. Adeeba, Chief Executive Officer of Monash University, Malaysia, and Pro-Vice Chancellor and President for Malaysia, Monash University, Australia, Professor Dr. Eva Bezak, President of the ASEAN Federation of Organizations for Medical Physics, Professor Dr. Yeong, President of Southeast Asia Federation of Organizations for Medical Physics, Emeritus Professor Dr. Yeong, Chair, Medical Physics Division, Institute Physics Malaysia, Associate Professor Dr. Liza Member, Malaysian Association of Medical Physics, President, Mrs. Zaina binti Muhammad Arifin, Vice President, Persatuan Pegawai Sains Physics, Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, Professor Dr. Jeannie Co-Chair, all our honorable and distinguished delegates and participants, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, salam sejahtera, and welcome to the 24th Asia Congress of Medical Physics in conjunction with the 22nd Southeast Asia Congress of Medical Physics, Revolutionizing patient care through medical visits here in Penang, Malaysia. Good morning and welcome to each and every one of you, especially all our delegates from overseas. Welcome to Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, this 3 days event aims to gather medical physics and allied professionals in the region to share knowledge, expertise, scientific discussions, cultural exchange, and medical technologies updates. It also aims to serve as a platform for medical physics scientific updates, networking with medical physics colleagues and industrial partners in the region, showcasing research outcomes and innovations, encouraging cultural exchange and social networking amongst participants from various countries. And of course, once you're doing all that, take the opportunity to meet new colleagues and new friends. And we are in the food paradise of Malaysia here in Penang. So please find some time to go around. We are here in the heart of Georgetown. It's all within walking distance to taste our Penang world famous hawker street food. So make sure you do that with your colleagues when you have the time right here in our 3 days event here in Penang. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, to start things off in our event this morning, it is my great pleasure to welcome Professor Dr. Jeannie Yeong, Chairperson of the Congress, to join us on stage for the welcoming address.
The Honorable YB Gooi Zi Zen, Member of the Penang State Executive Council, Prof. Dr. John Damilakis, President, International Organization of Medical Physics, Aocmp, Prof. Dr. Eva Bezak, President, Asia-Oceania Federation of Organization for Medical Physics, Aocmp, Professor Dr. Chai Hong Yeong, President of the Southeast Asia Federation of Organization for Medical Physics, Seacomp, also my dear co-chair, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very welcome to Penang and very welcome to the 24th Asia-Oceania Congress of Medical Physics, Aocmp, in conjunction with the 22nd Southeast Asia Congress of Medical Physics, Seacomp. This year marks the third time Malaysia had the honor to host this Congress. And we are immensely proud to welcome more than 550 participants from 36 countries. More than 300 from overseas, from diverse backgrounds, medical physicists or allied health professionals, industry partners, academics, and most importantly, students. This is a great testimony to the strong community of medical physics here in Malaysia as well as in the region. In this Congress, we bring to you 62 invited speakers from 20 countries. We've received 430 abstracts, and this Congress is very much enriched by the support of many organizations from International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, International Organization of Medical Physics, Aocmp, International Union of Pure and Applied Physics, IUPAP, International Medical Physics Certification Board, IMPCB, Institute of Physics and Engineering in Medicine, Aocmp, United Kingdom, the American Association of Physicists in Medicine, AAPM, and from Malaysia, the Malaysian Convention of Exhibition Bureau, MICEB, and the Penang Convention and Exhibition Bureau, PSET. We are also privileged to have 17 industry partners joining us and who have generously sponsored and support the Congress, enabling us to bring the level of organization higher. As a wise medical physicist that once told me, if you want to know what is the future direction of medical physics, talk to the vendor. And I invite all of you to visit the sponsors booth. The theme of this year's Congress, Revolutionizing Patient Care Through Medical Physics, truly reflects the vital roles of medical physicists and all allied health professionals. We stand in the forefront of innovation and technology. And as Prof. Adeeba have alluded, so many AI technology is in there, but implementation of it requires scrutiny, careful scrutiny of all allied health professions with our clinician colleague fraternities to make sure that patient care is safeguarded. We have also some NGOs joining our Congress while we're doing our professional job. We have one from Penang Borneo, a beautiful handcrafts, hand-weave bags by the indigenous Penang woman in Sarawak. The income will go back to support the livelihood of Penang women. We also have SK Chiu Enterprise, who does recyclable handicraft. Please support them. So in addition, during the Congress, we are also having photo competition. So please take your camera, take photos, capture the moment, and hashtag Aocmp 2024, and post it on your social media. Every day, we will select the top best photos, and there will be prizes for that. So, and all this is not possible without the dedication and teamwork of my big committee here. We are a team of 48 medical physicists volunteers who spend our daytime working as medical physicists, academics, and lecturers, and part-time were organizing Congress for the last few months. During this Congress, we also have 23 student volunteers, and I'm deeply touched by the high level of commitment by the team. And we will hope we have a great and enjoyable time during the Congress, and please be kind to our committee and student helpers as we are trying our very best. Many are doing this for the first time. They are learning on the job. Aocmp and Seacomp are among the not just scientific gathering, it is a scientific discourse meets culture exchange. We meet new friends, we make new friends. We meet old friends and we make new friends. So while you're in Penang, please do not forget to find time to tour the place, this UNESCO World Heritage Site. Enjoy the cuisine and local beautiful landscape. We hope you will have a memorable and enriching experience. Before I end, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants here. Because of you, we are here today. Thank you. Let us together revolutionize patient care through medical physics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Jeannie Wong, Chairperson of the Congress, for the welcoming address this morning. Next, it is my pleasure to welcome Professor Dr. Yeong, President of Seacomp, to join us on stage for her address. Please welcome Professor Dr. Yeong.
Thank you. Dear Honorable YB Gooi, distinguished guests, our speakers, international participants, friends, and family, good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 24th Aocmp and the 22nd Seacomp. I'm very grateful to our local and international organizing committees. As what Professor Jeannie has mentioned, they are excellent team, very professionally done, and without them, I don't think this conference would be possible. And this is the spirit of the commitments that embodies C-Form and F-Form. So we gather here again this year on these beautiful islands of Penang to celebrate our collaborations, our friendships, and our achievements in the past 2 years. And a significant highlight of this Aocmp and Aocmp and Seacomp is the expansion of the network and strengthened support from various international organizations. That's including the IAEA, IOMP, IUPAP, IMPCB, IPAM, AAPM, FEMPO, and many others. And we are especially grateful to the president of the Aocmp, Professor John Damilakis, coming all the way from Greece, and along with 7 out of 11 Aocmp Seacomp, they are here today with us today. We also extend our gratitude to Professors Raymond Wu, the president of the IMPCB. We have Professor Mahesh, the president-elect of the AAPM. We have Dr. Chapel from IPAM and Dr. Maria from IPAM. We have Professor Christoph Troll-Ernich, I hope I pronounced the name correctly, from FEMPO, and many, many others. And they are all the key figures, key leaders of medical physics internationally. We are fortunate to have these opportunities to listen to the high caliber lectures from over 60 speakers, distinguished speakers from around the globe. Additionally, we also receive very generous support from our industrial partners, which further enhance the success of this Congress and also to foster our future collaboration and innovations. Dear friends and family, I just can't thank you enough for being here today and to show your very strong support to us. And I quote what Professor Kwan said, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is a success. Well, I have many, many individuals to thank. Time is limited. I'm only given 5 minutes. And I would like to dedicate the last 2 minutes to showcase to you the 20 years journeys of Seacomp. So as the 6th president of Seacomp, I'm immensely proud to announce the launch of our Seacomp coffee table book, celebrating 20 years of Seacomp. Please enjoy the video. once again, thank you so much for your support and thank you for being here today. And I hope you will enjoy the Congress and it will bring you a memorable experience. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Chan Hong Wong, President of CFAM, for your address to us this morning. It is my great honor to invite President of Aocmp, Professor Dr. Eva Bezak, to join us once again on stage for the opening ceremony address.
Good morning. Honorable Y.B. Gooi, Professor Adeeba, Professor Kwan, the esteemed presidents, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure, on behalf of Asian Oceania Federation of Medical Physics, to welcome you at the 24th Asia Oceania Congress of Medical Physics and 22nd Southeast Asia Congress of Medical Physics. As we have just heard, this is the third time that the Congress is being organized in Malaysia. And honestly, whenever I hear that the Congress is in Malaysia, I can breathe a sigh of relief because I know we will be in wonderful hands of our conveners, Jeannie and Chai, and their superb teams. This is my 5th time to Malaysia, but the first time in Penang. What a beautiful city, so thank you for welcoming us here. And today I have had nothing but wonderful experience with our Malaysian hosts who are always extremely hospitable, perfectly professional, and perfectly organized. So it makes me triple happy. So thank you, Jeannie, thank you, Chai, and your teams. All organizations involved in the participation in the Congress have few things in common. Collaboration, participation, improving patient care, but last but not least, improving education and training of medical physicists. This is one of our main objectives. Aocmp is a very interesting region. We cover the area of over 60 million square kilometers, and our population is over 4 billion people. We are home to more than half of the world's population. At the same time, this is a tricky region because we are extremely diverse, culturally, historically, linguistically, not to mention also social and economic diversity. And the problems in, for example, Southern Asia, Indian subcontinent, are very different from medical physics challenges in Australia, New Zealand, or even Japan. We are trying, therefore, to extensively collaborate to equalize the region in terms of education and training. And one of the things that we will be releasing at this Congress is Aocmp Medical Physics Training Syllabus that was developed by my wonderful team led by the Aocmp Vice President, Professor Anupama Ajari, with the input of many Aocmp leaders, Professor Cho Gulip, Professor Jing Xian, Professor Mary Joanne, and many others. Hoping that having some guiding document will enable us to lift the medical physics training in Aocmp. Chai has introduced and welcomed all the dignitaries. I would like to give a mention to emerging early career medical physicists and the students in the audience. This is a wonderful opportunity here, as I mentioned in my previous address, to learn from the best, but also to create your own friendships and partnerships. So make the most out of the Congress and participate in as many sessions and lectures as possible. So without much ado, I wish you all the very best and have the best Congress ever. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much to Professor Dr. Eva Bezak for your address for us this morning. Thank you. Next, it's time to hear from the President of the International Organization for Medical Physics, Aocmp. Please welcome Professor Dr. John Damilakis.
Good morning, dear colleagues and friends. It is quite a pleasure for me to be here. And I would like to thank the Congress chairpersons for giving me the opportunity to be here to meet you in this very beautiful country, in this very beautiful island of Penang. For those of you who are not familiar with Aocmp, Aocmp stands for the International Organization for Medical Physics. We are the Society of the Medical Physics Societies. So our members are national member organizations. We have 90 NMOs, national member organizations, and 6 regional organizations. So we represent more than 30,000 medical physicists globally. The theme of this Congress, Revolutionizing Patient Care Through Medical Physics, perfectly reflects the role medical physics and medical physicists play in healthcare today. As medical physicists, we use highly sophisticated equipment, proton therapy, photon counting CT, AI. So this is a challenge for us. Of course, education and training is very important to use those systems effectively, ensuring patient radiation safety and dose optimization. This is a challenge, and again, education and training is needed. And at this point, I would like to thank the 2 presidents, the president of Aocmp, Professor Eva Bezak, and the president of Seacomp, Professor Chai Hong-Yong, for organizing so many events in this region. And of course, this Congress is a very important scientific meeting for all of us to share our ideas, to inspire and get inspired, to meet colleagues. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome all of you, to wish you success, enjoy this Congress, and I really look forward to discussions ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. John Damilakis, President of Aocmp, for joining us and for your address this morning. Thank you. Next, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to hear from the guest of honor of today's event. Please welcome Yang Berhormat Mr. Gooi Zi Zen, Penang State Executive Council for Youth, Sports and Health.
Thank you very much to the Master of Ceremony. Professor Dr. John Damilakis, the President of the International Organization of Medical Physics, Professor Dato Dr. Adeeba Kamaruzaman, the CEO of Monash University Malaysia, and Pro-Vice Chancellor and President of the Monash University Australia, Professor Dr. Eva Bezak, the President of the Asia-Oceania Federation of Organizations for Medical Physics, Professor Dr. Yeong Chai Hong, the President of Southeast Asian Federation of Organizations for Medical Physics and Co-Chair, Emeritus Professor Dr. Ng Kuan Hong, the Chair of Medical Physics Division, Institute Physics Malaysia, Associate Professor Dr. Nora Maliza Muhammad Noor, President of the Malaysian Association of Medical Physics, Puan Norma Zaina binti Mat Arifin, the Vice President of Persatuan Pegawai Sains Fizik KKM, Professor Dr. Jeannie Wong, co-chair of our Congress today. A very good morning to all of you. Salam Sejahtera, Salam Malaysia Madani, and Salam Penang 2030 to all of you. It is my great honor to stand before you today at the opening of the prestigious International Medical Physics Congress in the beautiful state of Penang. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the organizers of this landmark event, particularly the Asia-Oceania Federation of Organizations for Medical Physics and the Southeast Asia Federation of Organizations for Medical Physics, partnered with our local organizers, Institute of Physics Malaysia, Malaysian Association of Medical Physics, and Persatuan Pegawai Sains Fizik KKM. Your tireless efforts have brought together some of the brightest minds in the field of medical physics from all around the globe. To our international delegates, Selamat Datang, welcome to Penang, Malaysia. Your presence here today speaks volume about the global nature of scientific progress and our shared commitment to improving healthcare through the marvels of physics. We are delighted to host you in our state, not only for its rich cultural heritage and delicious cuisine, but also for its growing reputation as a hub of medical and technological excellence in the northern region of Malaysia. Distinguished guests, speakers, ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here at an exciting time for medical physics. Rapid technological advancement and our deepening understanding of medical physics are revolutionizing medical imaging, radiation therapy, and patient care. This conference is not merely a meeting of minds, but a collaborative efforts to push boundaries, challenge current understandings, and forge new paths in the medical physics research and clinical applications. As the Penang State Executive Council member responsible for health, I'm proud to say that both our federal and state government recognizes the critical role that medical physicists plays in modern healthcare. We are committed to supporting advancement in medical technology and ensuring our healthcare system remains at the forefront of innovation. Our national and state healthcare strategies place a strong emphasis on integrating cutting-edge medical physics application into our hospitals and clinics, improving diagnostics accuracy, treatment efficiency, and overall patient outcomes. In line with our state's responsibilities, we work closely with the Ministry of Health of Malaysia to implement national policies and enhance the quality of healthcare services here in Penang. While Malaysia has come a long way in this field, our universities and research institutions, including those in Penang, are actively contributing to global knowledge in radiation oncology, medical imaging, nuclear medicine, radiation protection, and other medical physics-related fields. However, we must also view these achievements against the backdrop of pressing global and regional health challenges. Millions worldwide, including in our region, still lack access to basic healthcare. This reality underscores the importance of gatherings like this, which foster innovations to bridge gaps in healthcare accessibility. But we recognize that the challenges we face are not confined by national borders. In our interconnected world, the success of medical physics hinges on international collaboration and the free exchange of ideas. The breakthroughs we achieve together will benefit humanity as a whole, transcending geographical and cultural boundaries. So looking into the future, the integration of artificial intelligence into healthcare presents unprecedented opportunities. AI-powered tools are making significant strides in diagnostic imaging and radiotherapy, promising to enhance both efficiency and accuracy of treatments. In this rapid evolving landscape, medical physicists are poised to play a crucial role, and their expertise in radiation physics, image quality assessment, and quality assurance uniquely position them to contribute to the safe and effective implementation of AI in clinical settings. As these technologies continue to advance, the importance of medical physicists in this domain is expected to grow substantially. Here in Malaysia, and specifically in Penang, we are fully committed to embracing these innovations in healthcare. The government are actively investing in the digital transformation of our healthcare system, aiming to create an ecosystem that responsibly harnesses the potential of AI and other digital technologies while leveraging the expertise of our medical physicists to ensure improved patient outcomes. I encourage all of you to use this conference and congress as a platform to forge new partnerships, sharing knowledge generously, and remain open to perspectives that challenge your thinking. To the young researcher and students present, I emphasize that you are the future of this field. So your fresh ideas and willingness to question established paradigms are vital for driving innovations. Engage actively, ask questions, and share your insights. The connections you make and the ideas you encounter here could shape not just your careers, but the future of healthcare itself. So in closing, I thank each and every one of you for your dedication to this crucial field. Your work not only advances science, but also directly impacts the quality of life for countless individuals around the world. As you engage in discussion, attend presentations, and explore new ideas over the coming days, remember that your contributions have the potential to revolutionizing patient care and shape the future of healthcare globally. So it is with great pleasure and a sense of anticipation for the remarkable outcome that will emerge that I now declare the Aocmp Seacomp 2024 officially open. May it be fruitful, inspiring, and productive experience for all. And thank you, and I wish you a successful Congress and conference. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much to Gooi. We would like to invite Gooi to kindly remain on stage for the opening ceremony. May I also invite Professor Dr. John Damilakis, Professor Dr. Eva Bezak, Professor Dr. Yeong, and Professor Dr. Jeannie Wong to accompany Yeong on stage for the opening ceremony. As you can see on the screen right here, we have a launch gimmick, and of course to activate the launch video for today's event, we would like to invite Yeong Mr. Gooi Zi Zen to place his signature in the box to activate the launch video. Let's have our VIPs to the center of the stage. And now in appreciation to the presence of our guest of honor this morning, may I like to present a token of appreciation to our Gooi. May I invite Professor Dr. Jeannie Wang, our Congress Chair, to present this token and witnessed by the rest of our VIPs. May I invite our VIPs on stage for a photo opportunity together? Ladies and gentlemen, shall we have a round of applause once again to the YB Grief taking time out of his busy schedule to join us and to officiate the 25th ASEAN Congress of Medical Physics and the 22nd Southeast Asian Congress of Medical Physics. Thank you so much, YB, and the rest of our VIPs. We will invite all of you to take your seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate the opening ceremony today, may we present to you a special montage presentation of the event. Let's take a look together.
They say you never know how strong you are until you have no choice but to be strong. I never thought I'd be the one to find that out for myself. I was doing fine, living my life, until the doctor told me I had cancer. You never think it will happen to you until it does. Hearing the word cancer felt like an echo that wouldn't leave my mind. The doctor said my treatment will involve different methods: radiation, surgery, and chemotherapy. She also mentioned a team of specialists will work together to help me through it. But I was worried about radiation. I had heard it could be dangerous, and I wasn't sure what to expect. One day, a medical physicist explained radiation to me. He explained that advanced imaging and planning allow them to accurately target the tumor, reducing harm to the surrounding healthy tissues. In many cases, radiation can effectively reduce tumor size and improve overall treatment success. When I got home, I looked up information about imaging and radiotherapy online from reliable sources. After that, I felt ready for the treatment. At first, everything felt overwhelming: the test, the treatments, and the waiting. But I faced it all, one step at a time. I've been living with cancer for years. It's been hard, but it also changed the way I see life. Each day feels like a new chapter in a book I didn't choose to write. I've learned to appreciate the little things more, like a nice day or a kind word from family and friends. Cancer has taught me that even on the toughest days, there's something worth holding on to. If you are fighting your own battle, remember you are not alone. And if you are not, cherish every moment. Life is precious and every day matters. To the entire healthcare team who cared for me, thank you very much for everything you did. Your kindness and professionalism have been truly inspiring.
Well, we have a little video presentation of our event, and of course, through this Congress, we hope we can help more people around the world as well. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate the opening ceremony today, let's do it in our vibrant, colorful Malaysian style with presenting to you the Malaysia cultural dance performance. The first dance performance is a Malay traditional dance performance called the Joget, which originated in Malacca during the colonial era. It is influenced by Portuguese dance called Branyo, which is believed to have spread to Malacca during the spice trade. Ladies and gentlemen, we will present to you the Joget Malay traditional dance.
Seroja mekar semalam, gugur sekuntum di waktu pagi. Apa gunanya berwajah suram, sayang jika tak datang orang dinanti. Berseri nanti buayan baru, nyanyian suka anak di rantau. Jauh di mata jangan dirindu, sayang hilang dan jauh cari gantinya. Jauh di mata jangan dirindu, sayang hilang dan jauh cari gantinya. Melati dusun mewangi fajar, petik sekuntum penghias darah. Apa gunanya gundah gulana, sayang jika kekasih jauh di mata. Berseri ganti istilah baru, lagu di rantau si orang muda. Kalaulah jodoh tentu bertemu, sayang jika tiada banyak gantinya. Kalaulah jodoh tentu bertemu, sayang jika tiada banyak gantinya. Bunga seroja mekar semalam, gugur sekuntum di waktu pagi. Apa gunanya berwajah suram, sayang jika tak datang orang dinanti. Berseri nanti buayan baru, nyanyian suka anak di rantau. Jauh di mata jangan dirindu, sayang hilang dan jauh cari gantinya. Jauh di mata jangan dirindu, sayang hilang dan jauh cari gantinya.
So much, wow, what a way to start things off with the dance performance. Thank you so much, dancers. That was the Joget, Malay traditional dance. Next, we move on to another traditional dance. This time is the Indian traditional dance called Bharatanatyam. And of course, it is a traditional Indian dance originated from Tamil Nadu in India. This dance will show you very expressive movements, precise techniques with a spiritual theme as well. Please welcome our Indian traditional dance performance.
Taritajam tajam tarita tadimita kita takata kata tadingina tom taritajam tajam tarita tadimita kita takata kata tadingina tom taritajam tajam tarita tadimita kita takata kata tadingina tom taritajam Taringina tom tarita jam tajam karita tarimita kita taka taka taringina tom tarita jam tajam tarita adibita kita taka taka taringina tom tarita jam tajam tarita Taringina tom tarita jam tajam tarita tarimita kita taka taka taringina tom tarita jam tajam tarita tarimita kita taka taka taringina tom tajam takajam takita jam takita kita jam takata ringina tom tajam takajam takita jam takita kita jam takata ringina tom tarita dana dana dhana da janu தக தரித தணத ஜணுத திவித தரி தரி தரித தண தண தணத ஜணு ஜணு ஜணுத திமி திமி திமித தரித தணத ஜணுத திமித தக திமி தரித தணத ஜணுத திமித தக திமி தரித ததணத தஜணுத தரிங்கிணதோ ததிங்கிணதோ ததிங்கிணதோ ததரித ததணத தஜணுத தரிங்கிணதோ ததிங்கிணதோ ததிங்கிணதோ ததரித ததணத தஜணுத தரிங்கிணதோ ததிங்கிணதோ ததிங்கிணதோ தாரிதஜம் தஜம் தரிதா தரிமித கிடதக தக ததரிங்கிணதோ 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 தாரிதஜம் தஜம் தரிதா
Thank you so much for that wonderful performance. The next traditional dance we'd like to present this morning is the Chinese fan dance. This dance will show you the elegance of our dancers moving the fan with delicate and rhythmic style. Let's take a look together. so much to that beautiful fan dance performance. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, the Malaysia multicultural dance performance right here. A little glimpse into the diverse cultures and colors and vibrance, so much that Malaysia has to offer, especially for those who are coming for the first time. And once again, we hope you enjoy the Congress and your stay here in Malaysia, particularly here in Penang. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to commemorate today's occasion, may I invite our official photographer to step onto the stage to capture a moment of everybody in the room together. Yes, give us a mini love, peace sign, yes. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us right here for the group photo. And with that marks the official opening of the 24th Asia-Oceania Congress of Medical Physics in conjunction with the 22nd Southeast Asia Congress of Medical Physics. Thank you so much to YB group for joining us, and I invite the VIPs to accompany YB to the next part of the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, the rest, you may please remain seated. Let's have our VIPs to make their way first. And I shall announce the next part shortly. Thank you.